Do you agree with Stephanie White?
Listen, I don't watch the WNBA extensively enough to say whether I agree or disagree. But I've often used the line, Shay, that I'll share with you because I don't know if I've ever used it while you've been on the air with me. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose. I've said that many, many times over the years. There is a flagrant level of resentment that exists when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And it has existed since she has arrived in the league. She is the
one whistle, one collision, one replay, and within minutes, the entire basketball world stopped talking about the final score. Instead, everyone was asking the same question: what really happened to Caitlin Clark? No one expected a single sequence from an ordinary regular season game to dominate basketball conversations across the country. Not the fans inside the arena, not the broadcasters calling the game, and certainly not the thousands of people who would later spend hours replaying the same clip from every possible angle. But that's exactly what happened. The final buzzer sounded. The players headed toward the locker room. Yet, the biggest story of the night was only getting started. Within minutes, social media exploded. The replay was everywhere. Basketball pages, sports networks, YouTube channels, podcasts, and national television programs. Everyone seemed focused on the same moment. What made the situation even more fascinating was that nobody could agree on what they had actually seen. Some fans watched the replay and saw nothing more than a hard basketball play. Others looked at the exact same footage and reached a completely different conclusion. The debate wasn't just intense, it was unavoidable. People weren't watching the clip once. They were replaying it repeatedly, slowing it down, comparing camera angles, and reading thousands of comments from fans convinced they had the correct interpretation. The more the footage spread, the more divided the basketball world became. Then the story took another unexpected turn. The discussion quickly moved beyond the WNBA community and into the national sports spotlight. Television shows began debating it. Basketball analysts offered conflicting viewpoints. Former players weighed in with opinions of their own. Each new voice added another layer to the conversation. Suddenly, what began as one controversial sequence had transformed into one of the biggest basketball stories of the week. Then came another major development. Stephen A. Smith addressed the growing controversy on First Take, bringing even more national attention to a debate that was already dominating headlines.
This news, Phoenix Mercury's Alyssa Thomas receives flagrant foul 2 penalty and a 1-game suspension. I want to know your thoughts. Is 1 game enough? 2 games, 3 games? I'm seeing some say 5 games. I'm seeing some people say 10 games Alyssa Thomas should have been suspended for. I want to know what you think in the comment section below. Phoenix Mercury's Alyssa Thomas receives flagrant foul 2 penalty and a 1-game suspension. June 25th, 2026. Upon post-game review, the Phoenix Mercury's Alyssa Thomas has received a flagrant foul 2 penalty and a 1-game suspension for recklessly making contact with her fist to the throat area of Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark. It was announced today by the WNBA. The incident, for which Thomas was deemed to have committed a non-basketball act, occurred with the 6 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the second quarter of the Mercury's 111-109 win over the Fever last night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Per WNBA rule, the league office has the option following its review of any game to reclassify a flagrant foul or to classify as flagrant any foul not called as such during a game and may impose a fine and or suspension. Alyssa Thomas will serve her suspension on June 27th when the Mercury visit the Toronto Temple. Now I have a question, because this is similar to what happened with Kennedy Carter. This is also similar with what happened with DJ Nick Carrington. I have a question to the WNBA shills out there. Do any of you guys have the stones? Shout out to Rudy. Any of you guys have the guts, the balls, the courage?
The moment one of the biggest personalities in sports television stepped into the discussion, the story reached a completely different level. Now, it wasn't just Fever fans debating the play. Basketball fans across the country wanted answers. Was this simply aggressive, high-level competition? Did the officials handle the situation correctly? Or had this moment become part of a much larger conversation about physical play, consistency, and player safety in today's WNBA? Those questions continue to divide fans, and that's exactly why the story refuses to disappear. Every replay seems to create a new opinion. Every opinion sparks another debate, and every debate pulls even more people into the conversation. One moment, one replay, one decision. And suddenly, an entire league found itself at the center of one of the most talked about discussions of the season. So, what actually happened during that sequence? Why has one play generated so many different reactions from fans, analysts, and former players? And why are people still debating it long after the final buzzer? Let's slow everything down, break the sequence down from start to finish, and explore why this single moment has become one of the biggest talking points surrounding the Indiana Fever this season. As the game moved into its most competitive stretch, the intensity naturally increased. Every possession carried extra importance. Every rebound mattered. Neither team was willing to surrender easy opportunities, and every player understood how crucial momentum had become. You could feel the energy shifting. Every defensive stop was celebrated. Every loose ball turned into a battle. The physical nature of the game continued building, possession after possession. Then came the sequence everyone is still talking about. The fast-moving play involving Caitlin Clark instantly grabbed the attention of both the crowd inside the arena and viewers watching at home.
And her cachet, and as a result, if they have an opportunity to go at her, they're going to take it. Now, Caitlin Clark is no innocent bystander in all of this. She's a high-end competitor. She can be very feisty. We saw from her college days where she can chirp and talk junk at you, which is why Angel Reese went at her when they ultimately beat her for the national championship, because she was chirping right back at her and trolling her. That's where the real fame of Angel Reese rose. We saw all of this. In the end, there are people that undoubtedly respect her, and you have an appreciation for what she's brought to the game in terms of notoriety and what have you. And I'll be the first to say that the Janae Ogwumike's, the Andrea Carters, and all of them, Monica McNutts, are far more qualified than me to speak on the issue because they see more of it than I do. But with what I've seen, you are able to say 1 + 1 = 2. And there's been a level of resentment that has existed where I believe there's been a failure on the part of some people to appreciate the mantra of a rising tide lifts all boats. Ride this cash cow till the wheels come off. They did it in the NBA with Magic Johnson. They did it ultimately with Michael Jordan. You know, that's how you do this. You find somebody that just galvanizes folks and ingratiates themselves with the public at large in such a way where everywhere they go and whatever they do, everybody wants to watch. You don't resent that. You feed off of it to build your own. And I think that WNBA as a whole, that women's basketball as a whole, and some, not most, not all, but some WNBA players need to appreciate that and gravitate to that and grab hold of that and ride that wave to your own ascension, as opposed to resenting it and showcasing it the second you get an opportunity to, whenever Caitlin Clark is in your vicinity. That would be my advice. That's all I could say about that.
I didn't love that this happened not once but twice yesterday, where there was basically a no call. I thought Stephanie White did the right thing. She should have gone off. She needs to protect her superstar.
She did.
That's her right. Completely.
Absolutely.
I also do think the league should probably review this. I don't have information on if they have started that process or not, but I think that maybe would be a good call, considering some of the images that have come out from this. I'm not calling anyone a dirty player, but it did feel a little bit like a cheap shot. So I agree with Stephanie.
Well, the NBA, if the NBA is going to review calls, you're saying the WNBA can review calls and act retroactively and make sure that you hand down appropriate punishment.
Inside the arena, reactions came almost immediately. Online, those reactions multiplied within minutes. Clips started spreading across social media at an incredible speed. Basketball creators posted slow-motion breakdowns, while fans paused the replay frame by frame, searching for every detailed new camera angle surfaced. Each one seemed to ignite an entirely new debate. Some believed the officials made the correct decision in real time. Others argued that the replay raised difficult questions worthy of further discussion. That's exactly why this moment became much bigger than a single possession. Once millions of basketball fans begin analyzing the same play from different perspectives, the conversation naturally grows beyond the game itself. And that's precisely what happened. The more people watched, the more questions emerged. The more questions emerged, the larger the discussion became. With every passing hour, it became increasingly clear that this wasn't simply another viral highlight. IT had evolved into one of the defining basketball conversations of the season.